Welcome to a new episode of the Humans on Air podcast, where humans meet superhumans in the field of AI, blockchain, and business. Today we have a very special guest, Bas van Rooij, CEO at Posthuma Partners. Great to have you here. How are you doing today?
Fine. Thank you. Yeah, it's a rainy day, but nice to be here.
Good to have you here. Can you explain a little bit about yourself and who you are, what you do?
I'm Bas, originally from the Netherlands. Working in the field of AI with great pleasure. A family man, first of all, 3 little kids, and enjoying life, especially at the beach, surfing and hanging with my
You
friends.
live close to the beach, right?
Yeah, pretty close. So I try to have the best and even untouchable combination of having a career, being a good father, and spending time surfing and enjoying myself with friends.
That's a challenge,
It is.
assume, right?
Yeah, it is. It's just like every small little topic is just really cool to be in.
Yeah.
And I enjoy my work quite a lot.
Yeah.
And
And about your work, how did you end up as CEO at Posthuma Partners?
It's like everything in life, some things just happen actually. But I started my career in strategy consulting. And I spent around or something more than 10 years visiting the bigger insurance companies and banking industry. And I just noticed that I got the opportunity to learn a lot, but it was all quite untouchable for me. So the output was always an Excel or a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And especially at the end of this 10 years, I really got the feeling that I wanted to work more with tech, more with software development specifically, because I really saw that this industry that I was in, it had just great potential to automate stuff, to start working with new technology, to be more innovative. And as everything in life, I just got connected to Posthuma Partners.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to take a step to another job or whatsoever, but I just got started with those guys and got in professional love. Yeah.
Nice. And it's a global company, right? You have global activities?
Yeah. So Posthuma Partners is specialized in AI and data science solutions for financial institutions, especially insurance.
Yeah.
We are active in, I think, 17 countries now.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's actually because we are a software company. So I always have to say that if I presume that we are active in 17 countries, people expect us to have like 5,000 employees.
Yeah.
It's nothing...
Offices everywhere.
Yes, but it's nothing like that. It's actually, we are a rather small company in central Netherlands. And so actively in 70 countries, really expanding in Asia, which is really interesting. From an insurance perspective, for example, Asia is just a market which is way ahead than what we have in the Netherlands, for example.
Why is that?
They just started later. So really, we struggle with legacy systems, for example. And because the middle class started later there, it's just from an insurance perspective, for example, they just got the opportunity to build a better infrastructure. Yeah. And be able to apply forms of AI, such as we make, in an easier way. Yeah.
So that legacy is kind of a burden for companies here?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And how does that limit the financial industry in that sense?
In a way that they don't apply it. Yeah, in a way that they don't. So there's actually, like, to bring it back to what we do as a company, that it has great opportunities still here. So we are really active in the Netherlands, for example, in working with the bigger insurance companies, bigger banking institutions to apply forms of AI to automate processes, to benefit from all the effectiveness or efficiency that it could actually have on any process.
Is that the main goal, to increase efficiency, effectiveness within every organization you speak with? Or is there more to it?
Hopefully, it's always the goal to have a better product or a better service for the end client.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully.
By bringing efficiency in.
Yeah, sure. So like it's always quite abstract, but to, for example, dive in some use cases. There's just, if you have an insurance claim, it sometimes takes up to weeks before you get a reply or even get clarity on if there is going to be a payment to support you with this claim. And we are able to speed up those processes from weeks to seconds, which is just really attractive for the end client because they just have clarity or they have an answer just in minutes.
And what does the AI do in that sense? How does it apply to this use case?
So what we do, we actually as a company are really focusing on being the one API, as we call it. So one API, it has something to do with the legacy as well, but one API because within this complex infrastructure of systems and applications, for example, insurance companies, it's really difficult to implement forms of AI or even develop parts of AI themselves. So they just we want to stay away from all that hustle and be one API that's going to connect them with all sorts of applications, AI applications that they could integrate within their processes. And to be more concrete, for example, decision support with acceptation, decision support with claims handling, pricing mechanisms, how much should an insurance policy be priced. So all sorts of bits and pieces where we enable these insurance companies to apply those sorts of AI, which is really efficient. So to actually integrate this API, it's a matter of weeks instead of years of implementation.
And this saves a lot of time, costs on the business side as well. Especially. And that's needed. Really needed. So those like you asked, what sort of AI do you apply then? It's all based on automating decision making. That's actually the first touch point that we have. And then from this, there's all sorts of other AI that could actually structure data which is unstructured within the process. So, for example, if you want to automate decision-making on car damage, it might be interesting to apply visual AI. So AI that's going to enable you to assess damage from pictures or videos. So then we have a video application integrated where you just walk around the car and the video is going to assess the damage. It's going to automatically be combined with the decision making, and the answer will be there straight away. So no people needed anymore here?
That's actually a really interesting question. So people might ask me, like, is AI going to take over everything? Like, is there no people needed anymore? But there's in every industry, so to say, and not even in our financial services industry, but there's really much room for personal expertise or client attention or just having no KPI on being the fastest customer service desk employee, but being the one with the most attention. So our business case is always really huge. So we save up to 90% of the time, 95% of the time, but it's not out of pocket. You could actually spend those extra minutes on your client.
That's a very interesting thing to say. So applying AI means you don't need to lose the people. You make sure by applying AI, people have more space to be human and to create human interaction and real connections. So instead of people, AI taking away jobs from humans, it's making their lives easier in a sense.
So for example, we are working on this use case with travel insurers. And there's this Asian insurer that really wants to push straight through, which is I won't use this term anymore, but like instant reaction if you are at the airport and your plane doesn't leave. And behind this question, there's our AI that's going to support you with the answer. So for example, you are with your family, fully packed, at the airport, a bit stressed because there might be queues and stuff. And then all of a sudden the baby's crying, but your plane is not leaving. terrible. You might imagine. Like I have 3 little kids, and I don't want to be. I actually take holidays with the car because I want to avoid.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
With the 2 kids. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And so that might be the trigger to call your insurance company.
Yeah.
What could I do? So we supply them instantly with the answer. Okay, you could either choose A, to have another ticket. We have this available in an hour, and you can depart. You just wait, have a coffee or whatsoever. Secondly, we can give you a quote, pay out directly the amount of damage that has to be done by you. Yeah. But then there's this extra category where people just have detailed questions, because there might be happening something else. Like there's extra stress, there's a small little kid, there's I don't know what problem could be actually happen on those airports. But now we have customer service employees that actually have time to spend with those clients.
I'm not waiting in line.
Exactly. Not wait for 6 minutes, but be available instantly. Yeah. So it's a really great way to make the process more effectively, but actually make more time for end clients.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, from a customer service perspective, that's actually a really important goal.
So the goal is to make humanity more social.
Sure.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, sure. And of course, like I've been reading, you have been reading, I know like a lot that even from an interactional perspective, AI is really effectively. So I don't know what the future is going in this perspective, but I don't believe that personal attention will be something that is fully covered by AI in the near future. No, especially like from my market perspective, no. Could be in other industries, I don't know, but from my perspective.
Talking about different industries, there's a big boom of AI and everyone is talking about AI, and especially generative AI is the big thing now.
Yeah, it's the most dangerous one.
Yeah, that's what people say.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I think that's true.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Like the way that we develop code behind the AI is really in a way that we want to make it fully transparent for our client to understand. Yeah. This is actually a mission that we don't succeed in too much, because they just are they're depending on our expertise too much. Yeah. So like from the first meeting that we work with a client, I start talking about, okay, let's go. We are going to develop code. We have code. Our AI is already applied in this solution, but we are going to tailor it to your use cases. Yeah. But we really want to be fully transparent how this code is built up, because to really understand this is also enabling you to understand how this AI is going to learn, because there are self-learning mechanisms behind it. Yeah. And you really want to know when the AI is going to make a decision not to cover anything A from B anymore. So that's one of the biggest goals. And the more generative AI models, they have the danger in it that it's going to be not fully transparent, or you're not going to able to read what decisions the AI made to actually learn and train the model.
Do you think we can turn this around still?
I don't even know anybody does know the answer on that question. But
then, what do you think about the letter that Elon Musk and others have sent out to pause for 6 months the AI development? Is that a good thing?
No, I think first of all, if people like Elon Musk in his craziness, but also genius need, and if he start talking about that we have to pay attention on those sorts of AI, we should take that serious. Yeah, first of all. But then secondly, I think it's quite naive to expect AI to stop developing in the pace that it actually does now. Yeah. So, I don't know. I started talking about you or with you about a book that I've just wrote read, that we just have to be nice to AI. Yeah. Be complimentive, be understanding.
So we should treat it as a human being.
Exactly.
As our little kid. And,
nurture.
And give them the kindness of a human being by learning it and developing it in a positive way.
Yeah, but then totally agree. And then but bringing it back to our industry is just, it's almost my, I wouldn't say mission, but to break it down and make it really simple again. Because talking about the applications or talking about the forms of AI, which Elon Musk, for example, is thinking of, is just 20 years ahead of what we actually are applying on financial institutions. Yeah. So there's also a danger in making it too much of a buzz. Yeah. Because sometimes you just have to break it down into small little things that it actually could impact you on a day-to-day business. Yeah. So I really want to motivate my clients to not be too much in expectation of any danger. You know, like really have an open mind of how could it actually make my business and products better.
Yeah, small steps.
Small steps ahead, yeah.
Because there's a big lack of knowledge, right?
Yeah, surely.
How does it work? And there's always the discussion, is something really AI or is it just an algorithm applied to some data?
Exactly, which is okay as well. Yeah. For example, could actually be, AI is sometimes also a word that you could actually use as marketing. Yeah. And then there's a data science solution where we just label data and it's connected to each other. No way AI involved, but it's actually really effective. Yeah. So all things aligned could be really effective. Yeah. What it actually, in positive sense, does is that people, by having one word, AI, is going to motivate them to look at, okay, how could I use these forms of technology to bring my business forward? Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think it should be businesses adding AI to their core, or should it in future, like again, we have the legacy, start with AI to solve the problem and build the company around it? So AI first or plus AI?
Yeah, so let's firstly focus on our industry. Yeah. So for example, insurers, they should do both ways. So one of the biggest challenges of them, if you start talking to any insurer around the world, big or small, is that we don't have any capacity to develop. No. We don't have any capacity to start a new project that might have a really positive business case. They're always really busy with running the business. Yeah. So if you would separate, for example, run and change the business, like run is day-to-day business, clients, service questions, whatsoever. You have to apply AI there to just give more air. Yeah. Give more opportunity to have more time, because your employees don't have to be busy with just fixing small problems, but have more time to spend on developing the processes or implementing new solutions. And then there's the other side of changing the business where they could be more radical. Yeah. Yeah. So 5, maybe 10 years ago, people always warned that there are going to be new entrants or fintech or insurtech that's going to blow the world around. But what we really have been expecting in the last, what we have seen in the last 5 years, is that this insurtechs, for example, really fast became legacy themselves. Yeah. So they started working with the same applications. But then again, there should be an incentive to radically change this in about every 2 to 3 years. Yeah. So what you could actually do as an insurance company, for example, is separate small little product groups that might be niche, for example, that you put aside from having a blank sheet and fully automate this. And that's the only opportunity to really make these new forms of AI be effective in the most or the best way, so to say.
Is there any risk involved there when just taking this?
No. There you have to be precise, of course. Like there's good reasons to do this, and there's bad reasons to do this. Like you really, if you have the motive to bring the best product to the market, if you have the motive to have the best customer service, in the end of the day, clients themselves could decide if they want to be a client. Yeah. And that's the thing about AI. If you look at this from a client perspective, people just want to be serviced really fast because we're used to it. Yeah. We want to have instant satisfaction. And financial institutions and insurers, banks, it doesn't really matter, but they all historically are trying to fix the processes as they already implemented, but it's going to not give them the opportunity to make it from weeks of an answer or hours or to seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from a client's perspective, just really, we are just used to it.
Yeah.
And people will want to be client to a company that does this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any challenges you see within the financial industry when applying AI at the moment?
Yeah. So we talked about this before. The formal authorities, for example, such as in the Netherlands, we have the AFM and DNB. They really are scared if AI is going to affect solidarity in a bad way.
Yeah.
So that we are only going to give credit to people that are credible, or only are going to insure people that might not have been damaging anything in the past, though they might be unlucky, or they just have another body that might be unlucky from a health perspective, for example. So, but it actually doesn't. So I would really motivate the AFM and DNB, for example, to be adaptive, to enable insurers to implement forms of AI, because from a cost perspective, there's just so much to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So health insurance, for example, we've been talking about this before as well, is like, this is a big question, or a big problem even, that health insurance is going to exponentially be more expensive every month. I think like up to 30% in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But if you would successfully apply on any health insurer in the Netherlands, you could actually bring this monthly premium down for about 40-50%.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And
So
how would that work? So taking down 40.
this is going to take another podcast.
Let's make an introduction to it.
Okay.
How would it work? So would the healthcare improve the healthcare setup or the whole system, most likely? Or is it just on the insurance side?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So it's, of course, it's the system, or it's the, it has to do with multiple different organizations that's going to have another interaction or connection to each other that's going to enable to bring the cost down in the way that I just said, 50-40%. But let's just start with the insurers itself.
Yeah.
I think even there, if you look at processes or activities, so to say, within these insurers that could actually be done by AI, are just, there's so much areas to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be so more efficient. If you would be sitting next to an employee of any insurer on a day-to-day basis, you would see them scraping or looking at the right screen and typing in the left screen. You know, like it's just really old school.
Yeah.
And
still.
Yeah, and for example, the cost ratios for those insurers are like 70-80% are cost for employees.
Yeah.
So you could actually bring this down quite a lot. Yeah. And then again, enable this or use this to enable growth.
Yeah.
You know, like have better policies and bring those policies to more people in a more effective way. So I don't want to in any way tell them to lose their employees. Let's just make clear. But it's just, it could be really more efficient. Yeah. And really to do something about all these legacy systems is the way to go. And you could actually start somewhere, because you don't want to not start because the infrastructure of all the other parties or all the other companies within this industry are connected. Should be in no way a reason not to start with these forms of AI.
Interesting. And back to the legacy setup and the Asia part.
Yeah.
You see a better environment there.
Yeah.
With less legacy.
Yeah.
And more flexibility to move forward.
Yeah, I think it has to do with three things. Like firstly, they just started 15 years later.
Yeah.
So if you look at core systems, for example, if you want to start an insurer, you're going to look for a core system where your administration could be done. It's just developed 15 years further, and it's just more efficient, more cost efficient. It has more functionality. Yeah. It gives a better platform to actually apply AI on. So we are the smart chip within any core system. The one API is the smart chip that's going to support decision making, but it's just easier to implement. So this is the first thing. And secondly, I don't know what it is. We should actually be looking at Asia from a more innovative perspective. They just embrace innovation better.
Well, we always think we should be afraid of that region because they...
Yeah, but then again, China is a different country.
Yeah, okay.
That might be difficult.
So we're not talking about China?
No. I'm separating China from the rest. So if I talk about Asia, it's, for example, Indonesia, which is growing exponentially. I'm talking about Malaysia. I'm talking about Thailand. Yeah. Those are really big countries. And because of their social development as well, like people start having more income there, they want to get insurance. Yeah. So it's a really growing market. And it's really interesting. And these insurance companies are in no way traditional. So they are really tech focused. So for example, if you would walk in any insurer in the Netherlands, what percentage would you think are software development?
10, 20%.
Okay, yeah, maybe. But in Asia, like insurers are really tech companies, which just makes our lives really easy because we can just talk software. Yeah. And then, so this is the second perspective. They are really software minded, focusing on tech. And then thirdly, I think like these countries have volume. Yeah. And
in terms of people.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just gives a better ground floor to actually apply these forms of innovation.
Yeah, because more people is more data.
Exactly.
Yeah. And more learning based on the data.
Yeah, that's correct. So we need quite some data to learn to actually develop our AI models. The more data, the better. We could generate data from all other sources, but especially if you have volume, it's just easier. Yeah. So it's really typical that, for example, in the Netherlands, being a small country with large ambitions, I don't know how you'd call it, is that we don't combine as much as you could actually expect from a technical perspective with countries as Belgium, Germany, maybe. Denmark, for example. We work with a lot of Danish companies, which are quite alike culturally, from an insurance perspective, legally. Why do we actually only focus on this country itself? There's a lot of reasons for it. I won't dive into it, but Asia just has more volume.
Yeah. And what about governance? Not only Asia, but also governance in Europe and the rest of the world. How should we handle this? Because this is a big topic as well at the moment. All the development of AI models. Should they be governed? Should they be just left alone? Open source, not open source? How
it's a really difficult question.
Yeah.
So we are on the supplying side on this question. So I'm also practicing or preaching for my own practice. But for example, the banking industry got introduced, or not introduced, but it became a big topic. KYC became a big topic years ago. Like if you would step into any bigger bank within the Netherlands, there's just so many FTE working on KYC projects. And you could actually question if this is a primary function for a bank.
Yeah.
And I know it's important because you really want to know who your customer is. But from a cost perspective, is this effective? And what I really am what I'm questioning, if they're not going to look or focus on AI from the same perspective. That they really want to develop more legislation, more rules, more monitoring, more audits, more day-to-day checks and balances based on what insurers or banking institutions do in the field of AI. Because it's going to not enable them to have a right pace. To embrace AI in the way that they should.
And I fully agree with you, because too much regulation and it blocks innovation and it blocks embracement.
And of course, there's a great example. Like there's some banking in banks in the Netherlands. There's insurers that are going ahead quite effectively.
Yeah.
So they're the better examples, and I think like we should learn from this.
Yeah.
We should be open, and then a more technical answer to your question might be. Yes, I think AI or code development should be open source in a way.
Yeah.
Should be shared more. Should be
for transparency reasons. Yeah.
So I think there's a big chance or a big opportunity for companies that going to have a platform or library, so to say, for code that we specifically develop for our industries.
Yeah. Interesting. And
we want to be open. For us, there's no competition in sharing code. People might think this, but there's no competition whatsoever.
No.
The competition for us is another company that understands the use case better, not the code. No, because code and software development could be done anywhere.
Yeah. So it's what you bring as a human being. Again.
Exactly.
So
really
the real interaction and
because. After, behind every insurance product, behind every policy, there's a person with a life, like with risk that you want to mitigate. So understanding your customer in the best way should be your competitive advantage, and not the way that you keep your software development or your solutions for yourself.
You think it should be us, not the governments. But us as suppliers, developers, who should create the regulation ourselves? So take control of this? Or?
I never thought of that, actually.
So more democratized manner?
Yeah, could be. Do you have like a picture in your head how this should actually be done?
Of course, collaboration between the developers, the research, the academia, suppliers, everyone, and users as well. Everyone who is involved, so as a stakeholder in AI, because I believe governments are always behind the development because of all the political mechanisms involved. So I believe there should be more of an alliance between all those companies, the bigger companies, the involved.
Yeah, that could be cool.
And create this framework. So definitely,
You might not expect this answer from me, but I do think there's a role for formal authority. Yeah. Because even if you would fully democratize these markets, but it's always going to have outliers. There's going to, how do I say this polite, are going to make life difficult for the other companies that have better intentions. So there's a place for formal authority, but I think they should as well invest in AI. They should as well invest in data science. For example, AFM could be my biggest customer if they would want to. It's actually really interesting to apply our forms of AI from an authority perspective. They generate so much data because they just tell insurers to give them that data, but we could actually really help them to have a better forecast, a better future scenario of where the markets are going. So I just see this as the same question, actually.
It's a good pitch to the AFM.
Might be.
Let's send it to them.
Okay.
Let's see.
Fair enough. I think I'm invited by the DNB in the near future, which is cool. But they just see me as an insurtech company that they might learn a little bit from, which is okay. I don't want to be bold, but I think they should really invest in bringing new people on board, really having a data science perspective. Like if we would, for example, like people that apply with us as Posthuma partners, younger people, what I see them doing in data modeling, for example, is just really cool. The youngest people do the craziest stuff at our office. It's just really cool. So it's developing so much and so fast and in this great pace. From a DMP perspective, without knowing them fully, I would focus on this newer generation and integrate it in the way that they service or they organize themselves from an authority perspective.
Talking about younger generation, we're both father of young kids. Are you ever worried about what we're creating? Because it's us creating the future with AI, but everything we do today has an effect on their future? Is
Yeah.
there anything?
If you mention it like that, it sounds like a big responsibility.
It is.
Yeah, fathership might be a big responsibility. Now, yeah, it's a difficult question actually. Like first of all, how do I experience AI in their lives now? They're 1, 3, and 6.
Yeah.
Is by seeing them watch YouTube or Netflix, and YouTube might even be worse. Is that I see how YouTube is really effectively is giving them what they want. But as all people might know, is that it's going to have a really fast rabbit hole effect.
Yeah.
So I do think that's quite important to notice. Like really have attention for this, because I want them to be open and experience the world of coincidence and go out and experience new adventures, and not too much. I don't see it as too much of a problem, but let's say put aside YouTube for the most of the day and experience the world. Yeah. So the rabbit hole perspective, I do think, is quite dangerous. I want them to be open and experience new languages, new people, new topics, new interests.
Yeah, but in platforms like metaverses can enable this as well, and can also embrace AI within development, and it already happens.
Yeah.
How do you see them being involved there?
It's actually like, from a father perspective, I'm not there yet. No. So they are in no way walking around in some sort of a metaverse, but I think with 100% certainty they will. Yeah. Actually, they will. And before this question, I have never thought about this. How would I actually experience this? But I think it could be really positive. If you reframe it in a way that you could experience things that you might not enter if you wouldn't have the metaverse, for example, it's actually really cool. Yeah. You can learn stuff from it. It could be inspiration. Yeah. But then again, I'm really focused on having them not focusing on games that I don't like, for example. I don't want them to see too much violence before it's needed or in some way. And I want to protect them. As a father, might want to protect their kids. Yeah. And I think now, if you would ask me, I would like to guidance them in the way that they can pick and choose. Yeah. Yeah, and give them some moral compass to investigate all those worlds, because it's a fact of life. Yeah, it's there. Yeah,
yeah, and will become bigger and bigger over the next few years, of course.
Yeah,
so it will be part of their lives, like PlayStation in our generation became part of our lives.
Yeah, and we spent quite some time on the PlayStation. Yes, we have to admit.
Yeah. But we also played football outside. And went out and running and playing, because what my concern is that if they are playing games too much or in the metaverse with the go, they meet people, often they are just staying at the same place.
Sure.
They're not playing around. They're not playing football really on the grass, which is beneficial, of course, for them. And this is something I do see a challenge.
Yeah. Because it's just so attractive, like the algorithms behind any metaverse are just going to give them instant satisfaction. Their brain is going to be triggered to the fullest, and that's just really hard. So
addictive.
Yeah, it is really addictive. Yeah, sure. So what I think my strategy is going to supply them with alternatives. Yeah, like it's always like, if you step on the bike. We have this carrying big bike, and everybody has in the Netherlands. If you just put them in, get a lot of bread and apple juice on board, and you just go, it's instantly fun. Yeah. So you just have to do those other things. Give them alternatives, and if the alternatives are attractive as they are,
and keep the real human connection.
Exactly, and then I don't know if I might be the father that's going to give them rules, for example, like give them hours a day. I don't know how it goes, but it's an interesting and also difficult topic. Yeah. But I do want to give them the opportunity to be open for new technology.
Yeah, it's a challenge. And let's talk in the next few years again and see where we stand.
Yeah. So, but we didn't have this.
No.
To be honest, like
No.
when I was growing up, like we didn't even have cell phones. So technology now just entered our lives, and I struggle with it every day.
Yeah.
Like and finding my way, but it's struggle not the way that we live.
Yeah.
Like, and they'll manage. They're smart guys, you know. Like I have these 3 little kids. They'll manage in the way that they, probably in a way that I couldn't even think of.
Yeah. And show the right example, right?
Yeah.
Bring them to the beach.
Exactly.
Show them how you surf
exactly.
like a king. And
yeah, thanks for this. You have never seen me surfing though, but
yeah, I've seen some videos,
really?
pictures, most likely.
Yeah. No, but that's really cool. You know, it's like enjoy the moment together. And of course, I do expect that this world of technology is going to evolve so rapidly. Yeah. But then again, we also are human. You know, like we also need a hug. We need personal attention. We need a compliment. So let's just give a lot of space for this.
Yeah.
And in my personal life, in my professional life, and be some sort of a moral compass for them. If that's not too bold, but I'll try to do that.
Yeah, and then you can do the same within your professional life.
Sure.
The moral compass. This is what guides us, and this is how we should bring it to our kids, to our companies.
Yes.
And show the world this is our human values. And it should be,
and that they should actually apply AI. So from a practical perspective, don't be too scared. Really start working with new technology, but from a smart perspective.
Yeah. Really
think out what it could actually be, or how you should apply this.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say to the listener or the viewer before we wrap up?
No, I don't know. Yeah, just work with tech. You know, like start working in a company that you like. Join us if you're really good in data science. But to be honest, thanks for this conversation. Yeah. And if I in any way inspire people from an insurance perspective to actually look at AI, that would already be cool.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Yeah, no, thank you. It was very learned some, and I really enjoyed listening to all the examples. Thank you for listening and watching this latest episode. If you have any questions, just leave it in one of the comments, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.